We got a bombshell new report out that we got to talk about. This could change everything for the Padres season. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen here with another episode of Padres Digest. Before we get to the tweet that you saw at the start of this and then some of the fallout from it, got to remind you all to hit that subscribe button. So many of you are new to the channel. We've got homegrown takes, information, updates, and opinions, everything that you need all season long to weather the emotional storm that is being a Padres fan. All right, let's get back to it. So in the wake of the Roki Sasaki decision to go to the Dodgers, there has been a lot of fallout, but this one right here, a tweet from Brandon Weil, who is a writer at The Score, and he's a member of the Baseball Writers Association of America. So on the scale of like hoax to non-hoax, I think he's on the more believable end of the Twitter spectrum. According to people in the organization and others who have dealt with the Padres, the team has at least entertained the idea of trading any number of stars to get payroll down and acquire more affordable talent. That is coming off of a report from Kevin Acee, who is an embedded reporter here at the San Diego Union Tribune, so someone who is definitely close and connected to the team, where Kevin said that at the end of the day, we want players that want to be here and will move forward and look to add to a really talented roster. So what does all of this mean? Right now, it means nothing. It means that post losing out to the Dodgers on another big-name free agent and having both Snell and Soto go to the non-Padre. Like, it means after an off season of taking L's that the Padres are just kind of spinning their wheels right now and saying things like, we want the players that want to be here, we want to find winning, and yada yada yada. But there is an inkling of a thread kind of tying through all things right now in this off season, and it starts with the Shildt lawsuit. And whether or not the lawsuit has merits, I don't really care. You can go check out the channel. We did a much more in-depth dive on it. We would appreciate you watching that. But the short of it is that within the lawsuit from Shildt Seidler, she indicated that the brothers who've taken over the team day-to-day operations are not running the team in the same capacity that Peter Seidler was doing. And that was big name free agents in on all the whales, out there absolutely hunting for the biggest and best names and throwing 10, 12 years, $400 million at guys like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis, generational players. Not saying that, we have to commit somebody else's money to be spending on our behalf, but when you go from we're clearly in on everybody, and the only thing that stopped us was either this was going to be a $400 or $500 million like out of control runaway freight train of a deal, or something medical or something else crazy that happened. But if we don't get that guy, then X, Y, or Z is also going to happen. We're now looking at post Sasaki, the Padres go out and spend about $3.5 million on some mid-tier prospect. Like, again, we watched another video, plug for the follow the channel. They signed a couple of dudes, not even consolation prize. We have not gotten any major league talent necessarily added to this roster this offseason. And now this, where according to the people in the organization, fire sale is the underlying worst case scenario here. And I want to talk about it because what is the way to read between the lines here and kind of understand what's going on? I would say that you got to break it down in terms of who is at what point in their contract, because this could be saying that, hey, Luis Arraez and Dylan Cease, who we just both avoided arbitration with, they're on 1-year deals. We could be looking to get 3 months out of them, get a couple starts, get a couple get to the All-Star break, and then we could be looking to deal them. This could mean that there's that next tier down with Xander and Cronenworth and guys who are on a couple of years left on their deals that the Padres could be looking to say, hey, do we really need to pay a top tier shortstop, or pay big money for a second base left-handed hitting utility kind of plays a couple of different positions guy, when we could just nix that off of the books? And I would love to believe that that's what this report is indicating, but I would also throw out the fear that includes this, that Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado could be not on the chopping block. I know that this is coming across as dramatic, but if you look at those numbers, that's a player that you can trade, to get things off of the road, get big time costs off of the books, and that is also a player that you can trade to get big-time things in return. Same for these numbers right here, and I am throwing out Machado and Tatis as the worst-case fire sale members of this. Both of them at one end over here with like the 1-year deals, and the guys who are King and Cease and Arraez, like 1-year deals. Manny and Fernando are over here under 10-year deals, literally like 10 years plus, decade plus left on their deals. They'll be Padres, according to their current contracts, well into the mid-2030s. But you also have 2 guys over there who there have been teams like the Blue Jays, like the Cubs, like the Yankees that have been linked to wanting to spend big-name money, that if you have an ownership group underlying all of this that doesn't have the desire or interest or confidence in spending that kind of money long-term, like if the Seidler brothers that have taken over the team realistically are saying to themselves internally, like, we're never going to spend $300-400 million on a guy. We're never going to do that. That's just not who we are as owners. That's just not part of our game plan. They might not want to hold on to 2 of those guys and then dump the rest of the rock. Because honestly, if you pare this thing down to just Manny and Fernando holding on for dear life around a bunch of nobodies, that's not an effective team. And if anything, that's a frustrated superstar situation where you get 2 guys that actively want to trade. So as much as it sounds maybe antithetical to the concept of how the Padres are successful, seeing this tweet come out, it raises it just gets the little hairs on the back of my neck just tingling, because I get immediately worried that they come up with some sort of foolish roundabout internal logic of saying, oh man, we are never going to be able to sign new talent to that. Like, that's just, like I said, that's not who they are apparently, or potentially. So they might want to say, hey, we'll ship Nando off to the Yankees for 3 of their biggest prospects and international money that we can dangle in front of the next Japanese player who's going to sign with the Dodgers. Or we want to send Manny off to X, Y, or Z team that is, close to the playoff run, needs a third baseman / DH, and has the, if the Blue Jays really, in the last couple of years, have tried on a couple of guys to spend $300 million, $200 million, and they have a chance, say they are 2 games out in the AL East, right around the All-Star break, they don't have a third baseman, they need some, you could talk me at that point into believing that I would need to be worried every day, refreshing my Twitter, going, is Manny going to get dealt? Is Fernando going to get dealt? Again, this could be overreactionary just due to the fact that I grew up in a bunch of rebuilding phases where we would have a Jake Peavy roll through and know that he was going to be gone eventually, because we just didn't want to hold on to one superstar around a bunch of nobodies. We had an Adrian Gonzalez come in and do that. We had a couple of guys over the years come in, equal out to a couple of prospects, and go. Is there a case to be made that we did it with Fernando? We traded James Shildt for him so we could get good talent back. Yes, but you're delusional if you think that we can keep hitting on generational talent with every single trade, because that's just not how baseball works largely. So to summarize, we have a report out saying that, according to people in the organization and others who have dealt with the Padres, the team has at least entertained the idea of trading any number of stars to get payroll and acquire more affordable talent. That being the baseline, that doesn't mean that anything has happened, nor does it mean that anything will happen. But I would say, Padres fans, you need to now go from being worried whether or not we're going to sign Profar back to worried whether or not we're going to be 20, 30 games back of the Dodgers, and or even sub 500, or if this thing is going to hit rebuild city really, really quick, because we got a couple of guys who are on those 1-year deals that Cease and Arraez, and I would hope King stays for a while. He's young enough. He's good enough. I mean, I would hope all 3 of those guys stay. But Cease and Arraez maybe being the first tier, Cronenworth and Xander being the second tier, Manny, Musgrove, I guess not Joe because he's injured this season, but some of those guys, third tier. But I would say all of those seem to be on the table. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And as I said at the start, make sure you hit the like or the subscribe button so that we can deliver all of these takes should any of these players get traded, or maybe Padres are just deking everybody out and they have some grand master plan. We will keep you updated here on Padres Digest as soon as you hit that subscribe button. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys soon.